as we do get into this, we are getting to Philosopher versus RunaMoK. Shout out to Philosopher, by the way. He's a pretty old school, I want to say, community member. I could be wrong. He may have admin things in the past. I just know that he's been around for a long time and only recently came back to watching StarCraft.
Is he actually plat?
Oh yeah, he's like an amateur player. He's like us. Like he's not a professional.
This will actually so. This may not be the most even looking game, but generally this kind of player mismatch is interesting because something weird happens. Anyway.
And speaking of weird, here we have him spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE. We have the Australian Terran player representing Legacy Esports. It is RunaMoK.
And in the top right-hand corner of the map, once also in red, and also Australian, I believe? Question mark by looking at the bracket. It is Philosopher. I am interested to see what Philosopher does.
All eyes are on Philosopher. When you're going up against a GM, against a pro player, what do? You gotta whip out the cheese, right?
Well, actually, personally, like when I play up against people who are much better than me, I try to actually go into the things I'm most comfortable with, the things that I know I can reliably reproduce under pressure. Because the better player is going to be better at putting pressure on you because they want you to make mistakes. So if you do something you're not used to doing, you're more likely to mess it up, which is just going to put you even further behind.
Yeah, and I'm pretty similar in that respect as well. I like playing how I play and seeing how I compare to someone who's a pro player. And this is where I humbly brag about 2-0ing Chappie in a tournament. And
I mean, I always say I feel good just because I've beaten nearly every Masters player on CranKy despite being nowhere near Masters. Like, it makes you feel good when it happens. I will mention that Philosopher is definitely doing something strange. This is a PvP build. It's a PvP build that doesn't do super well in the current meta because of the shield battery. I don't know what it's gonna do because I've never seen it in PvT.
Yeah. I mean, it is important to note that Philosopher, I think he only started laddering 2 weeks ago, if that. I remember he said so publicly, and then a couple of people were like, "Hey, we'll help you out. Like, it's cool that you're returning to the game." And yeah, we'll see how he shapes up against RunaMoK. RunaMoK, of course, he if you are unaware, I think he still lives with Probe. I think they're roommates. I say roommates, housemates, I guess is the better word. As they live in proximity to each other. And so yeah, RunaMoK, I'm sure he gets plenty of TvP practice, to say the least.
So Philosopher is doing good at continuously making probes, even though they're kind of long distance mining at the moment. These two stalkers are being very annoying. They got around the bunker, and the Marines can't really come out and chase them because two stalkers will beat two Marines. Philosopher is making 2 sentries. I don't know why.
Okay, he just wants to be on top of his scouting. Okay, he wants to send all the hallucinations out.
The big thing that worries me is that Philosopher has not yet started Warpgate.
Yeah, that's a problem. Nope. There we go.
I mean, look at the production tab. Look at this. I am impressed. It's like, what are you doing, RunaMoK? You literally are making 1 barracks. Well, this guy's just out producing you in every way, shape.
And he gets out with the stalker as well. What a guy. He's styling right now. He's styling on RunaMoK. Jesus.
Oh, look, he's scouting with the hallucinated Phoenix. Well done. He's got a nice scouting path, too. He'll see everything.
So yeah, Philosopher, he's doing well. Again, maybe a bit of out of meta, out of fashion builds, but yeah, you know, he's making it work.
I mean, Stalker Sentry Immortal is it seems more like something you might want to do against like mech rather than bio, but if you got enough of it, anything can happen.
This is true. Yeah.
Getting his Twilight Council, he's gonna go into a blink, I assume.
Meanwhile, it looks like RunaMoK is just ramping up for a big bio push. We've seen variants of this before. You know, you go with all your bio, you go with a couple of tanks, you maybe even pull a couple of SCVs as well to throw down some bunkers, and it hits pretty hard.
I'm interested in the fact that he made a Raven before switching his, like, that means he had his starport on a reactor, or not on a tech lab for a while.
Yeah.
Ravens are pretty uncommon in this matchup unless you think they're going Colossus.
Yeah, part of me also thinks that maybe he went Raven just safety wise, because as you were saying, like when you're going up against like someone who's, you know, a weaker player, like maybe you just want to like play as safe as possible if you're someone like RunaMoK, right? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe like DTs are just gonna come out randomly and you just want to.
The Raven's being queued up to go harass the third.
Well, there you go. So how often do you see this in a TvP? Sorry.
The Raven harassment?
Yeah.
If they make one, it almost universally gets used to harass after it's done its initial job, because probes die so fast to these turrets, and it's very much so hey, you throw the turret down, you leave, and it doesn't matter. It's a bit more difficult to pull off against blink openers, but this is a very late blink. Oh, that was well positioned by Philosopher. He almost caught that.
He did. He's on point with his defense, and he even spots this bunker, which this is a very ambitious bunker to say the least.
Yeah, it's like that's a like if the Bioforce was closer, maybe. Army wise, Philosopher has a lot of stuff. He could, with some well placed force fields and not giving up his third base.
Well, that first part, I mean,
yeah.
So the third base is being given up. I mean, Blink did just finish as well, so he does have that going for him, but oh my god.
He definitely had a scary force.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate that, like, RunaMoK is just a mechanically better player. He used the shield battery. I fight people on ladder who still forget that thing exists. GG.
GG.
And also, if I sound a bit like down-putting, I'm sorry. I'm actually earnestly impressed with the Philosopher's play so far.
And meanwhile, Oz Protoss, who I've seen him quite a bit. I know he's a big probe fan. He's letting us know that they share a bunk? Maybe.
Well then.
I cannot confirm or deny. I've not seen their living situations.
I regardless, I'm not gonna judge. If you want to sleep with someone, sleep with them, as long as they say yes.
Jesus Christ. All right, here we go.
I looked at the army graphs. Philosopher was ahead in army supply until that fight started. All the way through the game. That's damn impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and speaking of impressive bunk beds, we have spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE. He is representing Legacy Esports, as well as Probes bunkmate? Question mark. We have RunaMoK.
And this time in the blue, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing Protoss, also for Australia, is Philosopher.
So I don't think we got to talk much about it on stream. I know we were talking about it before the stream started, but yeah, if people are wondering why the bracket is looking a little bit slim, a little bit you know, it's missing a couple of notables, a couple of regulars.
So many walkovers.
Yeah. Part of it is because, of course, DreamHack is in a couple of days, the DreamHack main event. We've had a pretty intense week over the weekend. We had the ANZ champ groups. A couple of days before that, we had the qualifiers. Like, it's just been non-stop StarCraft for these guys. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, but DreamHack Summer is the first big event of 2020. It's a bit of a shame that it took 6 months to get here, but we're finally here, and yeah, these guys are taking it pretty seriously.
Looks like Philosopher's going for the same exact opener, so he likes this 2-gate thing. Honestly, this reminds me a lot of when I came back, because I quit before Legacy of the Void actually came out. I was a HOTS player, and I quit until about 1.5 years ago now, something like that, when I joined CranKy. And this is something I was doing, is where I was opening 2-gate in every matchup.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're coming back to a game, I guess it's not like the worst thing to do, right? Like, you have this one build and really you're just working on your mechanics and kind of getting a feel for how everyone's playing, right?
And especially, I don't know how long it's been. You were saying it's been a while since Philosopher played. I don't know how long that is, but if he was primarily a HOTS player, this is something he'd be more comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because the game was slower back then, you had the time to get these gates up. You didn't necessarily have the money to throw around on a lot of things, but you definitely had the money to throw into a little bit more production than you might think. Ooh, Stargate.
Ooh, okay. I like this. You know, he's not, you know, it looks like he's opening the same, but really he is hiding some tech there at the back of his base. We'll see if RunaMoK can get in with his Reaper.
He also remembered Warpgate this time and is chrono boosting it.
Yeah.
The Reaper's gonna see.
It does. It goes immediately to behind the Mineral Lion, and it does evade the Stalker as well, so it sees everything that there is to see.
He's got these Stalkers well spread out to corner this, though. Yeah, the Reaper's dead.
Okay. So, you know, this did get spotted, so I doubt this Oracle is going to deal too much damage. But regardless, like, going Stargate, getting an Oracle out just for scouting for vision, like, it does, you know, it's not like it's not like if you make it, you don't get any SCV kills. It's the worst thing in the world, right?
I don't know. I don't feel like RunaMoK is respecting this fact that this is an Oracle very heavily. Like, he's getting Raven again. He's going on Tech Lab on his barracks, but he's only got a couple of Marines. He didn't make a Cyclone out of his factory after it made the Tech Lab, so he's gonna have a Widow Mine, I guess, and a couple Marines. It's just, it feels, especially since this is going to be double Oracle. Like, the first Oracle, if it was single Oracle, it would be hitting already.
Yeah.
Double Oracle is really, really dangerous, even to a Terran player. Ooh, big Stalker move out, too.
Ooh, interesting. Maybe going to try and pull the army, to one side with his Oracles and try and hit, multi-prong. Yeah, we'll see, especially because, again, that Widow Mine is buried in the main Mineral Line, not in the natural, so the natural is a little bit more exposed, but that is where the Marines are.
There's no tanks, there's nothing on, like, there's definitely not stim, and this is not a small number of stalkers either.
Oh god. So
he killed the Widowmine though. That's actually kind of a big deal. And he pulled all the Marines except what's in the bunker out of position. His bunker is going to get focused down, and there is no repair.
Yeah, but in the end, the Marines do push the Stalkers away. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, there were definitely pros and cons to what Philosopher did, right? Like, he did kill the Widowmine. He did lose both his Oracles. But he's not that far behind on workers. Like,
he's got a third damage going down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think, like, the idea was good. I think with a little bit more mechanical finesse, like some better like split army control and stuff like that, that will be really scary to some Terran players on ladder very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, again, with a little bit more better like stalker control, or just control in general, I do think that more damage could have been done there.
Well, it also doesn't help that he's playing into RunaMoK, who plays this 3 racks bio style. This is semi-common, but not super common. Usually you go like 1-1-1 in this matchup. 3 racks means you want to be more aggressive, and it means you have way more bio than Protoss is normally used to.
Yeah.
So it could just be that Philosopher's not used to dealing with this.
Yeah, it could just be more of a clash of styles, like, because RunaMoK is playing this way, and this isn't even that like super standard as you were saying, but yeah, now the bio's pushing in, and
pulled the probes to fight the Widowmine.
GG.
GG. Yeah, let it be said that Philosopher was doing quite well there. For despite the fact that he is truly and properly outmatched.
Yeah, like, shout out to Philosopher, right, for for signing up for playing, even though like he is platinum, he isn't GM or even Masters, right? Like, he just wants to like play, participate, be a part of the scene, be a part of the community. Like, it's really cool to see. Like, I really appreciate that. It's something that Kuro and I used to do. Like, we would, not just us, but like all of us, we would sign up for a Lima League every week, just to play against like Ryung every week. Goddamn Ryung. But yeah, like, it's it was just fun to do. Unfortunately, we can't do that nowadays. We're quite busy. But yeah.